Hello, I'm Dylan.
And I'm Keon.
And this is Trust Your Doctor, that podcast with a surprising knowledge of British plant life, because this week we watched The Mark of the Rani.
Written by Pip and Jane Baker. Which are actually pseudonyms for Tom and Colin. No.
Actually not. It's a husband and wife pair.
Yeah, exactly.
So who's the wife in that situation?
Tom.
Okay, it's directed by Sarah Hellings.
And aired in February of 1985.
Already off to a good start with this serial.
Well, hey, they're not going to be giving us much to work with.
They didn't give us anything to work with if we're going to be, honest here.
Yeah, so it starts off, like you mentioned, with 3 minutes of music.
And just
and
random
coal miners.
Establishing shots of this mining town.
Yeah, these 3 guys walking to a bath house.
Yeah, I was watching this, it's like, oh boy, is this going to be another episode where the doctor doesn't show up for 20 minutes?
Well, it wasn't as bad as last week. Especially because of all that sick synth music. And I don't know, music...
It wasn't as bad in the aspect of the doctor not showing up, or just wasn't as bad overall?
Both. But I don't know, the music in this serial wasn't exactly good, but I noticed it a lot for some reason.
Well, the original composer who they got to do this serial, I don't remember who, died after only doing the first episode of music. So they decided to
That's
just...
inconvenient.
They decided to just scrap his whole score, and they hired someone else to do it, but they still compensated the family anyway, even though they didn't end up using the guy's score. But they had to hire someone in-house in the radiophonic workshop to do the score because it was such short notice.
Huh.
So, now you know. Anyway, eventually, the Doctor and Perry show up, and as usual, they're bickering about something.
Well, they actually make a joke about that right at the end. Like, what do you usually do in there? Argue, mostly. And Perry's wearing Belle's outfit from Beauty and the Beast. It's true.
I mean, sort of. Belle's outfit was all yellow, and Perry's is the yellow top with a white bottom.
All right. What are you, Beauty and the Beast aficionado?
Yes.
So the #1 fan?
Yes. I'm going to start a Beauty and the Beast podcast. And watch every interpretation of the story. Well, there's a terrible idea for a podcast that'll never happen.
You never know.
We could scrap our other plans and just do that instead.
Wait, what other plans? I mean, we've thrown out many ideas for other podcasts.
That's true.
Most of them not very good. Like the Calvin and Hobbes podcast, where we would read one a week, which is slower than how they actually came out.
It would take us decades to finish at that rate.
It would take us over 100 years to finish, I think. Anyway, yeah. The TARDIS gets sucked into yet another time vortex or whatever.
Another time corridor.
That, surprise, takes them to Earth.
What a twist. It's actually even less of a twist when you find out who's running that time corridor.
Yeah, you mentioned how the Masters reveal was pretty underwhelming. And I don't know if it was the most underwhelming, the season 8, I think, or whatever the Master season was, that got pretty underwhelming by the end because he was in every serial. But yeah, this was also pretty underwhelming.
Well, at least in that season they tried to either have the Master in it from the beginning, or they put the reveal on a cliffhanger. But for this one, it's just the Doctor goes into a building and this guy just walks up and takes off. It's a scarecrow, and he takes off the head, and it's the Master.
Yeah, because the Doctor and Perry are walking around, and Perry displays an acute knowledge of the local vegetation for some reason. I mean, her accent's getting better, but my suspension of disbelief is still slashed to pieces by how much she knows about the local plant life.
Maybe she's a botanist. Her name is Perpigillium.
And what does that mean? What,
I don't know.
So it's just like an unconnected thing. Like, oh, maybe she's a botanist. Her name's Perpigillium.
I thought Perpigillium was a type of flower.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, 30 seconds of Google didn't give us any results, so we just gave up.
Maybe we'll do more Googling for the show notes, but probably not, at least as I don't care anymore.
Yeah, and because I do the show notes. And yeah, I don't care. Well, actually, I never cared in the first place, so there you go.
Well, Perry and the Doctor see this guy just get attacked by some randos.
Yeah, okay, so we forgot the scene where the three miners actually make it to the bathhouse, and there's a unsuspecting old woman running it. So they're like, I bet she's not going to be a major character.
I bet she's the monk.
All right, if that was your prediction.
No, it wasn't.
So they go into the bathhouse, and they get gassed.
There's shades of Auschwitz there, actually. The way you phrased that. So...
yeah, I guess, I mean, like, not on nearly as large of a scale.
No.
Or as serious of a scale.
No. Or as targeted of an attack on a certain race.
Yeah, that's true. Also...
The old woman just kind of just takes everyone.
Yeah. I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she wasn't even really trying to kill them, so...
That's true. I'm just saying in the way you phrased it that they went in the bathhouse and they got gassed. So, yeah, those three miners then go attack this guy who's like wheeling some machinery from somewhere to somewhere else.
Yeah, I guess he's entering town. But before that, there's these scenes of them wreaking havoc throughout the town. Like, there's this one scene where this little kid is trying to cook a potato on like an open flame or whatever with a little grill grate thing on top, and they just come over and kick it down. I'm like, wow, jerks.
Yeah, well, they run amok. Then they go just beat this guy up. And the Doctor and Perry show up and they're like, whoa, man, why are you beating this guy up?
Whoa, man, can we join in? No.
And the guy's like, they're attacking my machinery. It's the Luddite Revolution or the Luddite Revolts.
No.
And he's like, no.
It's the Luddites. Run for your lives. No. Yeah, I didn't know what the Luddites were, so I had to look them up.
Yeah, the people who like don't believe in using technology.
Yeah, they're like 100 years too late.
I remember reading that the person whose beliefs they follow, his name's like Charles Ludd or something. He's like, he might be a fictional person because we have no evidence of him actually existing.
Seems legit. I also read on the wiki that this is the first serial since the Gunfighters to have a historical figure in the serial, and I was like, what?
Yeah, Charles Stevenson.
Yeah, no, and it was like...
Oh, you're like, yo, is that accurate?
I mean, like, I can't think of any examples of a historical figure between then and now, but I feel like there probably has been one, maybe? I don't know.
Maybe, yeah, I can't think of any right now.
That would be so weird if there wasn't.
I was thinking while I was watching this serial, the Doctor is talking with, this is actually like right now, he's talking with the guy who got beat up. The guy's like, I'm gonna go meet Charles Stevenson. And the Doctor's like, oh, Charles Stevenson? The Charles Stevenson? The guy's like, yes. I want to see a serial sometime where the Doctor's like, oh, the, like, Edison or something, and then they go meet this guy. It's just some random dude with the same name, and it's like not actually the famous person.
Well, like, I didn't really know about any of the so-called famous people in this because, like, I don't know, they're British.
I didn't recognize Stevenson's name. I recognized Faraday's name.
I didn't recognize any of them.
I don't know who Stevenson was. Apparently he develops some machinery that's like vital to rockets or something, which is why the Doctor makes that pun at the end. He's like, your work will take off like a rocket. And Perry's like, these puns just keep getting worse. Yeah, the Doctor suddenly has like a desire to make puns about everything in the serial.
Well, I don't know. The thing about the Doctor in this serial was he was a lot less jerk face-ish than he has been in like the previous serials.
Yeah, because the whole focus was on the Rani and her sick burns to everyone.
Well, okay, I have something to say about the how exactly how much they focused on the Rani later
And the
on.
Master.
Yeah, and I'll mention that at the end.
Yeah, so Perry and the Doctor get into town by riding on this dude's cart because he's just given up on moving the machinery, I guess. I guess he just leaves it behind, like in the forest. And they get into town, and the Doctor and Perry are like, we're going to go meet Charles Stevenson. So they go to this...
Like bluff their way into the meeting or whatever, and the Doctor gets attacked. Like 70% of this serial is just the Doctor and Perry getting attacked.
The best part was when the Master was like, the Doctor keeps intervening in my plans, and the Ronnie's like, might I remind you who it was who brought the Doctor here this time? And the Master's like, oh, right, that was me. Whoops. So the Doctor's also got this little machine that goes beep when there's time things.
Yeah, another unnecessary part of this serial.
Yeah, because it falls down the well near the end of episode 1, so... the Doctor and Perry...
They get attacked. Yeah, they get attacked again, and they're saved by, what's-his-face? Sideburns, man.
Lord Ashbury or something. And...
I thought it was
Ravenscroft, no, you're right. And then we cut to the Master just busting into the bathhouse. The old lady takes off her headdress, and it's revealed to be another renegade Time Lord. It's the Rani.
Yep.
At this rate, they can populate an entire planet with renegade Time Lords.
I mean, yeah, if you want to populate an entire planet with like 5 or 6 people, then sure.
Well, there's the Doctor, the Master, the Rani, the Monk, there's Cronitis. Actually, that's all I got. I got 5. Morbius, that makes 6.
And there has to be more. Well, I guess you can count Barusa as a renegade.
Yeah, he just doesn't get exiled. 7.
Yeah, I think that's it.
7 renegade Time Lords. No, and then what's his name from the Twin Dilemma, who dies at the end and doesn't regenerate.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, whatever. He wasn't that important in the overall scheme of things.
So, yeah, the Master makes this comment, like, on my 2 hearts, and I'm like, you don't have 2 hearts anymore. You're in Tremus's body.
Yeah, but maybe Tremus's body morphed into the Time Lord shape and anatomy. I don't know.
Or maybe Tremus's body just had 2 hearts.
He was just what's that guy's first name? Is it Armstrong? The guy with like...
Lance?
Yeah, Lance Armstrong. Whose medals were revoked.
Yeah, because it was found out he was doping.
Yeah, but here's the thing about that. Everyone in that race was doping, so they should give him his medals back.
I mean, yeah, but it's like that old saying, it's only illegal if you get caught.
Yeah, I guess, but they should still give him his medals back.
They should just distribute his medals equally to everyone
in the world
and be like, you were all doping, so you can all have a piece of the medal.
So... Yeah, the Rani sort of reveals what she's up to, and this scene was kind of annoying because they used all this... Okay, 1, the dialogue went by really fast for some reason. They were talking really fast, and 2, they were using all this inflated language that made it hard to understand. And I was like, okay, you don't really need to use all of these big words, maybe just some of them.
I guess Pip and Jane are trying to make the Master and Rani sound really hoity-toity.
Yeah, I think that's what they were going for, and it just... I guess it makes sense, but at the same time, if it's gonna detract from your ability to understand, then why do it to that extent?
Yeah, I still liked all the Rani's sick burns to the Master and the Doctor, though. So, yeah, the Rani reveals that she's stealing brain fluid from the humans because... Okay, so she got exiled from Gallifrey for...
something.
But you find out later she mutated a rat and it became like the size of like a small dog and it ate the president's cat and took a bite out of him. So she gets exiled, but now she like rules over this random planets.
Yeah.
And she made them all like really aggressive by making them not sleep, and then she realized that they need to go to sleep so they can be more productive workers. So she's harvesting this brain chemical from the humans that makes people go to sleep, and she's going to give it to her people on her planet.
Right, and the side effect of that is now all the humans are getting all aggressive, and they have this giant red mark on their neck, which that's the mark of the Rani.
When the master said that, I was like,
What, you don't like when they name drop the title?
I'm gonna reference that Family Guy skit where Peter's watching these movies and like, man, I love it when they name drop the movies in the movie, and then he's watching Superman 4 and Superman's like, to save the world I have to be Superman 4, the quest for peace. And Peter's like, oh, so that's why they call it that.
Oh my god. I don't even like Family Guy, actually.
That clip just shows up on Reddit all the time. That's the only reason why I know that clip.
Okay, Family Guy's funny, but at the same time, I think it's also really bad because, like this serial, there's only like 4 to 5 minutes of plot, and the rest of it is just remember that time when, and then it just cuts to an unrelated skit. It's true. Watch any episode, and like 90% of the content in that episode has nothing to do with anything.
Well, at least those 4 to 5 minutes are stretched out over like 45 minutes?
No, like 23.
20 minutes?
Ish.
And this was 5 to 10 minutes of plot
Over
stretched
90.
over like 90 minutes. There were a lot.
Well, okay, American Dad is the superior alternative. Although I don't even like that show either. It's just not funny.
Is there any show that on TV really that's that funny?
South Park's pretty funny, I think. The Colbert Report.
Colbert Report doesn't exist anymore.
I'm not gonna discount it because it
That's
ended.
True. Yeah, Stephen Colbert's on Late Night with Stephen Colbert now. Anyway, yeah, there's a lot of shots of the village in this serial because apparently, due to a fortuitous circumstance, they got an extra day of location filming while they were filming this serial. So they got an extra day in
really
the field.
Making use of that extra day.
So they decided to film as many scenes as possible outside at the village they were filming at. And then it started raining, so for a lot of the forest scenes, they had to use some random forest near Pip and Jane Baker's house.
All right. Good thing most of the British Isles are like forests and fields. Actually, I think all of the entire thing is just forests and fields.
Yeah, so they're spoiled for choice, so to speak.
And apparently also rock quarries. Which I think we actually there wasn't a rock quarry in this, was there?
No.
Wow, that's good and surprising.
I think also this is the last time they film on the mainland European continent until the reboot. Although I'm not certain about that.
What? Where did they? What?
Yeah, I think they filmed in like Spain or Italy, or that might be next week.
It's probably next week.
Yeah, they film in Seville next week, which is the final.
Sevilla.
Which is the. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm not gonna lie. Which is the final time they film on the European continent till the reboot.
Seems legit.
Anyway.
Yeah, so I pretty much hated how the thing that the Rani was using to extract the brain juice were little green grubs. I was like, oh god, it's the Green Death all over again. And the master, when the master's mind controlling whatever that guy's name was
Lucas.
later, he's like, "Here, have one of these sweetmeats." And I'm like, you'd have to be blind to think that. Yeah, I guess it's meat. It's bug meat, but
Well, the master first hypnotized the dude with his pocket watch and then gave him the meat. So
okay, yeah, I guess.
He wouldn't have even known. And the Rani just gives it to people she's knocked out, so...
Yeah.
So the master grabs the vial of brain juice and then threatens the Rani. He's like, I'm gonna break this if you don't cooperate. And she's like, damn it, okay.
Oh, this serial had like a really, really terrible working title. I forgot exactly what it was, but something like "Too Clever for You," or something really dumb like that.
I remember reading that. Wait, hang on, what was it? Too clever by far, you mean?
Thanks, Pip.
How do you know that wasn't Jane?
Thanks, Pip and Jane.
There's a lot of bakers on this show.
Yeah, there are. Baker's like one of those interesting English last names that actually reveals, like a historical thing about your family. Because like
Yeah.
most English names, and I don't know, this is just a weird tangent that I'm going on right now, but most English names like don't reveal like who the person is, whereas like names from other cultures actually do. Like Baker is one of the odd ones that does. Like,
Yeah.
oh, my ancestors were bakers. At least someone down the line.
Someone back there was a baker. Maybe, if you go back far enough, all of these bakers are related. Pip, Colin, Tom. They're all part of...
Jane. That would be kind of...
Yeah, that'd be... I mean, although you go back far enough and you're related to everyone on the planet.
Yeah, I guess.
So, the moral there is not to marry anyone. You're related to everyone.
What?
I don't know.
So... Yeah, then I don't know what happens next. The doctor goes and talks with Raven's face, and
Raven's face. The doctor suddenly realizes that his multicolored coat is going to be a bit of a difficult thing to sneak into a bathhouse. So he decides to switch into a more muted, more logical brown coat.
His Technicolor dream coat. Yeah, so he dresses up like a miner.
And he leaves on the bright freaking yellow pants.
Yeah, okay, I was going to say that I guess Perry was wearing that dress because it was supposed to fit in with the time period, and I was like, yeah, maybe it does, but it also is way brighter than anything anyone in this village is wearing.
Everyone else is wearing brown.
Because there was that whole thing where, like, Ravens, whatever his name was,
Ravenscroft.
Raven's Bomb?
Raven's Bob.
He was, the landowner, and everyone else were the miners in this town with, terrible conditions and 19th century mines.
Yeah.
And they kind of just glossed over this
Didn't we just talk about the
dichotomy.
mining conditions like last week, too?
Yeah. And here we get this serial where they, it's set in this mining town, and they don't really, it's not part of the story, really. Or they're discontent. Actually, it portrays the miners as, like, super content until Rani shows up.
Yeah.
Although I guess there's the whole Luddite thing, so...
Yeah, no, so the doctor goes undercover to the bathhouse, and Rani finds him out, she knocks him out, and then she, like, hears that he's got 2 hearts, and then they have this discussion, and the doctor's like, I never liked you. And she's like, yeah, well, I don't really
never
care.
liked you either. Ha! No, I don't know.
Anyway, yeah, the Rani then... She, like...
Iris Wildtime. Here we go. She hasn't been on the show, but she's the 8th one.
Was she 9? Wasn't the 8th one the guy from...
Yeah, 9, whatever.
Twin Dilemma?
Yeah, because he was definitely the most important on the list. This guy from Twin Dilemma. Give him a spinoff.
No, you never know.
I mean, set before he dies, actually.
I just want to know what happened on that night with the 4th Doctor in the fountain that the guy seems to remember so fondly.
Does he remember it fondly, or
I
was
don't
he
know.
just...
He just keeps mentioning it in the twin dilemma, so I just made an assumption.
Well, clearly it changed his life, and the Fourth Doctor just kind of brushed it off.
Yeah, the Rani reveals that she's been doing this for centuries, coming to Earth and stealing brain fluid. But then she lists off all
What?
these.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, no. She lists off all these conflicts that are like way more bloody and way easier to hide her brain juice stealing than the freaking Luddite Rebellion. She lists like the American Revolution.
Oh, okay, yeah, I remember
and then the
that.
Civil War, and I'm like. So, I guess she's run out of major conflicts.
American Revolution actually wasn't that bloody, but okay.
Compared to the Luddite.
Okay, yeah, compared to the Luddite Revolution, yeah, probably. But
I guess she just run out of bloody conflicts to go extract juice from.
yeah, because there's not thousands of other ones to choose from.
Yeah, maybe she's been to all of them. I mean, she does have a time machine. Which actually has a really cool interior.
Yeah, it does. She should go to the Dalek invasion of Earth.
The Doctor just reveals, I stopped that invasion. And I'm like,
Maybe she was the one playing the bongos off screen the entire time.
it all makes sense now. The Rani was there the whole time. I actually like the Rani as a character because she's not explicitly evil. She's just kind of this amoral scientist who's just doing whatever without any regard for good or bad. And the Master just shows up.
Yeah, I don't think any of the Time Lords, any of the Renegade Time Lords are actually explicitly evil. I mean, maybe Barusa, but...
Morbius kind of
maybe
wiped out a bunch of people and got executed. The Master wiped out like half the, like a quarter of the known universe that one day.
I don't know.
Although Cranitus, he seems pretty chill.
Maybe that quarter of the universe was like the quarter of Saudi Arabia that's just empty. Because there's a part of the country called like Empty Quarter. There's just like empty. I'm sure there's nomads there, but yeah.
Yeah.
Well, mainly because it's uninhabitable, but yeah.
Yeah, I guess we're getting into weird theories now, but it would depend how that universe chunk got erased. Like if it...
Maybe it just got erased from everyone's minds too, so nobody cares or remembers it.
Well, we'll always remember.
Well, I mean, I won't. I forgot until you just brought it up right now, so...
You forgot the Master wiping out, like, billions of sentient life forms?
Yep.
We put it on the death count.
Yeah, because I remember everything on the death count. All 1,000-something people on there.
Yeah, 1,583 to be precise. Plus all the letters.
Oh, God.
Anyway, back to the plot.
The quote-unquote plot.
Perry busts into the bathhouse and she's like, Doctor!
They're like, no! The Doctor's like, no! And Perry's like, Doctor! And Ronnie's like, Perry! And the Master's like, Patrick! No, okay.
Well, the Master's actually not there right now. He's off in the mines.
He's like convincing the miners that the Doctor is the one bringing machinery into the town. I guess they're in their sleep deprivationness. They believe him.
Yeah, so they go get the TARDIS, and then the Master comes back and captures Perry, and Perry's like, no!
Okay, so they tie the Doctor to that little minecart thing, and what I thought they were going to do was tie him to the tracks, like some band of cliche supervillains, twirling their mustaches and stuff, and then run a minecart over him. But no, they didn't do that. Instead...
That would have been more interesting than what we got.
Yeah, because what we got was, like, pretty badly choreographed.
What we got was... it reminded me of the Third Doctor's wheelchair escape in his very first serial.
Yeah, kind of. So Perry actually takes hold of the cart at some point, and the Doctor tells her to push, so she pushes, and then he's like, no, I meant push the other way. I was like, so you mean pull? Or did you want her to get on the other side of the cart and push? You probably should have mentioned that if you did.
Yeah, the doctor like kicks his leg up and knocks the master's tissue compression eliminator onto the ground. The master goes chasing after it, and then Perry pushes the doctor, and he goes rolling down a hill. He's like, "Help! Help!"
And then some of the Luddites help him, and he's like, "Oh, thank you." But then they go and try and throw him down the shaft.
Yeah, they put him on a minecart. So they chuck the TARDIS down the shaft, and then they put the doctor on the cart, and they wheel him towards the edge, and he's like,
right, yeah, he wasn't on the cart yet. He was on that bed thing. Yeah.
And then it ends with him ominously approaching the edge. And then episode 2 begins with George Stevenson just showing up and rescuing the doctor. And he's like, "Hey, man, probably don't want to be on this cart. Looks like it's going to go over the edge." And the doctor's like, "No, really."
Does he actually make an obvious comment like that?
No.
Oh, okay. I didn't remember.
So they go to Stevenson's house, and the doctor's like, "You have to cancel the meeting." And Stevenson's like, "Why?" And the doctor's like, "They've already attacked me twice and you once. Like, you really think they're not going to attack this meeting and try to kill everyone?" And Stevenson's like, "Good point. Good point."
I forgot the part where Perry's first rescuing the doctor, and she's like hesitating to rescue him, right? And he's like, "Come on, Perry, use some of that famous American initiative." And I was like, "Yeah, use some of that famous American initiative by doing exactly what I tell you, very, very hesitantly."
Yeah, you know,
at least the accent's getting better.
If I was Perry, I would hesitate too. I'd be like, "Yeah, you've been kind of a jerk."
If I was Perry, I would have just noped right out of there weeks ago. But yeah, I mean, this would be a good chance to kill the doctor. I mean, if she was ever going to do it, now's her chance. Far.
Then she would have to live the rest of her life out in 19th century England.
She could figure out the TARDIS. It has that conveniently English manual, remember?
Yeah. So they get out, and the doctor's like, "I'm going to go look for the Rani's TARDIS."
God, episode 2 was just...
Episode 2 was worse than episode 1.
Episode 2 meandered. Okay.
Episode 1 meandered too.
Okay, episode 1 meandered less than 2. This was like, this serial could have been a 1-part 25-minute episode. Maybe two tops, but I mean, even then, like 50 minutes is a bit long for this.
Yeah, this serial is really dull.
Yeah, I guess both in plot wise and actually dull color wise, except for Perry's costume.
Yeah, and when the doctor puts his coat back on. So the doctor goes into the Rani's TARDIS, and he's like, "Wow,
it looks really cool in there." Actually, her column is like, it looks like, what's that like top, that like perpetual motion top thing that you spin and it doesn't stop spinning until you stop it, or something like that?
Like a what's the name? Like a gyroscope of some sort.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a gyroscope or something else, but it looks like it looks something along the lines of that.
Yeah. And when it goes up and down, it rotates, and the circles rotate. It looks really cool. Yeah, and it's all black and...
gray.
Gray-black. And the
there's
console is
T-Rex
circular.
embryos.
Yeah. For whatever reason.
They just wanted to throw a dinosaur in there, probably.
Yeah, so they built the set specially for the Rani, and J&T was like, "Hey, the Rani seems like a cool character. I'm going to put in an order to save this set in case we bring her back."
And they did once. Apparently not. I read that they haven't brought her back in the reboot, which I thought she came back in the reboot. So.
Yeah, Stephen Moffat was like, "I have no reason to bring back the Rani."
I mean, except that she's kind of a cool character.
Yeah.
But okay, the thing about the Rani in this serial, in her introduction, was I wish the Master wasn't in this.
Yeah, me too.
Because, you know, they introduced the Rani, this new, pretty cool renegade Time Lord, and the Master just also just kind of steals the spotlight for half the serial. So like,
yeah, as the monster does.
Yeah, so it could have been cool if like they first introduced the Rani, and then in her next appearance she's working with the Master, and it's also revealed like later that the Master knows her as well as the Doctor. That would have been cool, but nah, they just threw the Master in too. I get a feeling that maybe this was supposed to originally have been the Master.
No, Pip and Jane designed the Rani themselves, and then J&T was like, "Hey, throw the monster in there because he's pretty popular." So they're like, "Okay, sure." So, yeah. And I can't remember if I mentioned this on the episode or not, but Anthony Ainley's contract was up at the end of at season 21, and his contract was like he appeared in one serial per season, and his contract expired. And Eric Sayward like hates the Master, so he's like, "Yeah, we're not going to use the Master again. We're not going to renew the contract." And then J&T was like, "Hey, Master's pretty popular. Let's like renew his contract. We'll bring him back for one serial season." So, yeah. Apparently, the Rani was supposed to return in the originally planned season 23 because season 23 was planned and the show was delayed, so all of those scripts were cancelled. And then we get Trial of the Time Lord, but yeah, Bob Holmes was writing the next Rani script for the originally planned season 23. Robert.
William Hartnell.
So we'll never see that Robert Holmes script. Oh well.
Unless they somehow revive it.
Yeah.
As something else.
They might have revived it as an audio drama and not used the Rani because they didn't have the actress yet. And then by the time they did get the actress and they had a script already for her, she passed away like a couple weeks before they were going to record a new Rani audio drama.
No, I'm just kidding.
But then her estate was like, yeah, she really wanted this to go forward, so like we're okay with you recasting the Rani. So they did. Anyway, that brings us back to
this serial.
So the Master and the Rani go back. Okay, no, the Rani has a remote control for her TARDIS, and the Master's like, "Wow, impressive! You have a remote control." And the Rani's like, "Yeah, well," and the Doctor's like, "Wow, she's a genius. She has a remote control. I think they call it like a Statenheim control or something."
All right.
Which is way too cool of a name to waste on a remote control, but the Doctor hides, the Master and the Rani do some nonsense in the TARDIS and then leave, and then the Doctor messes around with the circuits and then leaves.
They mind control Luke and...
Lucas.
Yeah, they also call them Luke. A lot of the other characters in the serial, who weren't the Doctor and Perry, Master, and the Rani, were hard to differentiate, in my opinion.
Well, they all looked the same, except for Lord Ash, what's-his-face.
You mean
no, Raven's
face, Croft, Ash, man?
And then, yeah, the only people who looked different were Raven's man and...
What if he's like a superhero who becomes the Raven at night and fights crime?
The new Christmas special is going to have the Doctor meeting up with a superhero called Dr. Mysterio. No, that's the name of the serial, The Return of Dr. Mysterio. Yeah, the Ravens, what's-his-face, and George, now I can't remember his name, were the only two people who looked any different from all the other people in the village.
I mean, even they, I don't know, were... Well, Sideburn Man is Sideburn Man, so he was easily differentiable. Ravens Burns. Everyone else, though, kind of just...
looked the same.
Yeah.
Including Lucas. There was also the subplot where Lucas's dad was being controlled and was part of the rebellion and was beating people up, and Lucas was like, "My dad would never do that." But it doesn't go anywhere because Lucas immediately gets mind controlled.
I mean, I guess it wasn't like necessarily... I don't know if it was a subplot or not. It was sort of just there to bolster the town, but it was also just uninteresting because the whole town was uninteresting. I don't know.
Generic Townsville.
And yeah, anyway, they do mind control him, and then the Rani lays some mines in the forest.
Yeah, the Rani and the Master. The Master's just being the Rani's lackey now. Their relationship was ill-defined.
Well, I don't think it's ill-defined. I think it's
the Master.
It's just an unfriendly partnership.
Yeah, they both want to take out the Doctor because the Doctor wants to take them out because the Master, as usual, wants to rule the planet. And the Rani just wants to do science nonsense and steal some brain juice.
And control the people on her own planet.
So they lay down these mines, and the Rani's like, let's just say they will never be the same again when they step on these mines. I was like, when I found out what they did, I was like,
Yeah, it turns out they're actually not deadly. All you do when you step on the mines is put on a really bad-looking tree costume.
no, yeah.
Okay, what was that subplot about Perry? And she has to find the herbs and like what was that?
The subplot that they make completely useless at the end. Because she's looking for this herb because it'll help all the miners who have had the brain juice stolen, because it'll help them sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah, they make that completely, like, it's completely useless at the end because the doctor pickpockets the master and gets all the brain juice back anyway.
Yeah, well, they just had to demonstrate her knowledge of plants. Maybe that has something to do with her character later on. I don't know. I mean, I do know when she gets written out, but I don't know anything else about her. Other than that, I want her to leave. Like, this serial didn't really change my mind about Perry. I still want her to leave.
She worked better in the, 10 minutes she had with the Fifth Doctor.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess, yeah.
So, Perry gets grabbed by Lucas Tree, and she's like, ah!
Yeah, Lucas steps on one of the mines and gets turned into a tree. And you think he's gonna kill Perry, but
the doctor
he actually just saves her.
Steals the master's gun, and he's like, I'm gonna kill you guys if you help Perry out of those mines. And they're like, okay.
So they have this suspenseful scene where Rani guides Perry out of the minefield. Actually, it's not that suspenseful.
No, it's not. It's not really that suspenseful. Especially since you can see the mines if you just look down.
She covered them really badly. And there's a scene where she's covering them. She just throws some leaves on top of one of them. She's like, yeah, that should be fine.
And, the doctor makes this snarky comment to the master. He's like, I bet you turn it... I don't remember what type of tree it was, nor do I actually care.
It's a spruce, I think.
And the doctor's like, you turn into this kind of tree. And the master's like, oh yeah? Why? And the doctor's like, because it's poisonous.
I don't know. That's such a dumb line. It's not even funny.
I did write down a quote from the serial, I think, on my quotes list, but I don't think it was anything the doctor said.
I mean, what, you're forcing yourself to write a quote from every serial?
No. I've only written 2 quotes so far. Oh, yeah, I wrote, when the Rani and the master meet and the Rani's explaining to the master what her little mind control grubs are, she's like holding them out to the master, and she's like, here, they're mind controlling. Eat one. And the master's like, no, thank you, I won't.
There was a better quote in this serial than that,
yeah,
but I didn't write it down. No, the master had like a pretty funny line in this, but I was like, is that funny enough to write down? Nah.
Should have just written it down anyway, because there's barely any serials for us to draw from.
Yeah, I'm probably not going to have that many or any by the end, so whatever.
Yeah, so anyway, the doctor goes to stave off some Luddites while Perry takes the master and the Rani to the mines, and then the Rani outsmarts Perry by pretending to be dying, and I'm like...
Yeah,
so Perry...
The oldest trick in the book.
No, the oldest trick is, hey, look over there.
The second oldest trick in the book.
No, so Perry's like, I won't mind just shooting you with this. And she takes him to the mine, she's like, I should kill you. And then the Rani starts dying, and then all of a sudden she feels bad for the Rani, and I'm like, you're gonna shoot them anyway, Perry, just admit it. Like, do you really actually feel bad for the Rani?
Yeah, Perry's pretty trigger happy. I mean, in this and in Attack of the Cybermen. Oh, she's American, so...
So they escape into the TARDIS, and they're going, and then everything starts shaking. They're like, no, the doctor's messed with the TARDIS. And then they're like, there's time leakage. And
the T-Rex starts growing at a super fast rate.
And they're like, oh no, there's a T-Rex in the TARDIS.
Oh no. Okay. We forgot the scene where the doctor is tied to the branch, and they're
carried. Yeah, like they're gonna go eat him or something.
Yeah, like the Ewoks.
And then the 2 people carrying the doctor step on the mines and get turned into trees.
He's just suspended there between these 2 trees. He's like, what do I do now?
That makes me think, like, they didn't remove the mines, so over the next 100 years, people might just wander through that grove and get turned into trees.
Man, that would suck. Well, it's okay, because like Perry mentions in the beginning of episode 1, they're gonna mow down the forest pretty soon anyway.
Oh no! Well, also like the Rani mentions, the lifespan of the trees is 1,000 times longer than the humans.
No, it's just 4 times longer.
4 times, sorry.
Oh, there's some trees that are pretty old.
Yeah, redwoods.
Yeah. There's trees there's trees around here that are over 1,000 years old.
Yeah, actually pretty close, a couple hours away. Anyway, so Perry and the Doctor meet up, and they've had Lord Raven's face.
There's ones even closer than that. I'm not going to mention the place, but...
I mean, probably. I'm not actually sure how far away. Yeah, anyway. They had Lord Raven's something pull the TARDIS out of the mine, and they go in the TARDIS, and they leave. And
at the end, it's just revealed that the Doctor is planned for all of this, and he pickpocketed the Master, and
he gives them the brain juice, give this to the miners, and they're like, okay.
Yeah, kind of just ends it kind of just fizzles out.
Is it really fizzling out if there wasn't any fizzle to begin with?
I mean, I guess it's a good point.
It's pretty in line with the rest of the serial.
I mean, whatever. Yeah,
so this serial was pretty boring, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't call it bad. Just really mediocre.
Of the 6 Doctor serials we've seen so far, this is the one I'm least likely to rewatch just because it's boring.
I liked it a lot more than last week's.
Nah.
A lot more.
I didn't.
The Rani is pretty cool. So she comes back once, unfortunately. Only once.
Once on the TV show. Twice in the audio dramas.
Yeah, so I don't count the audio dramas as important as the show.
Well, yeah, they're just expanded universe.
Yeah. So...
But we're going to get to those eventually.
Yeah, eventually. So, yeah, I mean, I think what I said before still stands. I wish the Master wasn't in this.
Yeah.
Just to give the Rani more time in her introduction serial and not have the Master sort of steal a spotlight for a lot of it.
Yeah. And maybe they should have given the serial more substantial...
consequences?
Yeah, because, I mean, the Rani was just kind of stealing some brain juice, and then she's just going to nope out of there to go back to her own planet. The only consequences came from the Master being there, and then the Master was like, haha, I brought the Doctor here, and the Rani's like, why would you do that? We could get away with this if you hadn't brought him here. You have to go and bring him here because of your stupid feud with him. And the Master's like, hey, don't you talk about my feud with the Doctor. Yeah, well, I don't have anything else to say about this serial.
Yeah, I think that's about it.
So, email us at thedecorativevegetable.com.
The doctor at decorativevegetable.com?
Is that not what I said?
You just said thedecorativevegetable.com.
Well, it's a companion now.
All right, our website is a companion. Sure. Oh, I actually did have one more thing to say about this serial, is that I kind of wish that dog, I think it was a lab, I don't really know.
Oh yeah, dog got killed in this serial, we forgot to mention that.
They should have given that dog a spin-off called Dog and Company, because they never named the dog. So it would be pretty much the same thing, Canine Company, Dog and Company.
And what, would they bring back Perry for that? Canine and Company,
sure,
they brought back Sarah Jane.
Why not? Yeah.
Dog and Company, just...
Luddite and Company.
Dog and Company.
Okay, yeah, that's all I wanted to say about that.
Okay. You can find us on YouTube, iTunes, and Google Play, all at Trust Your Doctor. I realized a couple days ago that the episode we recorded last week actually goes out a couple days before the election, even though we're this probably comes out after the election. So this is actually the first episode that'll go out after the election.
Trump won, didn't he?
Yeah, we should just make a completely unfounded basis right now and see if we're right. So, let's all bow down to President Clinton.
Really?
Yeah, I think Clinton. I think it's Clinton.
Hey, you know what? I, for one, welcome our new Trump overlord.
Well, see, now we've covered all our bases. So when it happens, one of us will be right, and you just be like, yeah, we were right.
It's gonna be Bernie. He's gonna come back from behind and win it all. No.
Leave a rating if you like the show.
I mean, Kasich was still on the primary, even though he already dropped out. So.
Oh, you mean John coming in fourth in a 2-man race, Kasich?
Whatever.
Be sure to leave
It's
comments.
the worst outro ever.
Yeah.
Also check us out on Facebook. Trust Your Doctor. Like us on Facebook. Also check us out on Twitter, TYD Podcasts, and follow us on Twitter. And next week, we watch The Two Doctors. But until then, the end.